...2003 started off very strange, by the way. The Challenger, was it? Or no, am I getting them confused? Columbia. Yes, I remember, when that happened. It seemed so... Again, another surreal moment. I remember... Yes, I recall Star's End had a special series of... Star's End had a special line of tracks just for them. I'm into electronic ambient, but yes, it was very, very weird, very tragic. Well, 2004, graduation. Graduated from the cyber school that I had attended. I had made a lot of friends on the school forums, more than I ever had before. I mean, I was always a loner throughout my life, and to some extent, people generally tend to disgust me. But here I actually found people worth talking to. I'm still in contact with them once in a while. They're all busy with jobs. Of course, well, actually, they were all busy with jobs. Now I think they're just busy. We're all busy trying to survive. In 2004, I moved to the new place out here. Kind of green and everything, but the experience is sort of surreal, actually. And to say the least, it hasn't been too pleasant up here. Less said about this, the better. But anyway, I think everyone can agree that since 2005, things have been awful. 2005 started off, horrifically enough, with a tsunami off Southeast Asia. Later on, the war would become even more bloody and more intense. And you know, if there are any servicemen watching this, you know, I respect you very much. Later that year would be Katrina. Yes. And I remember things were very unpleasant to begin with when that happened, but summer 2005 was absolutely horrific. Throughout this time I was also doing a whole lot of study in philosophy and religion. I was born again since 2003. I was religious before that, but I didn't know anything about Christianity at all. I had never read the Bible at all before 2003. My family was Catholic, so for me, being a Christian throughout 1998 really is just praying the rosary. And not much more. My parents were very lay Catholic too, so no communion or anything like that. Yes, Byzantine Rite. I studied the Bible. I studied the time and place where the Bible was written in. Mesopotamian studies were an apt place, and that's where the war was going on anyway, so perhaps it was prophecy. That, and of course that coincided with my readings of philosophy. And all this eventually led to me getting interested somewhat in traditionalist schools of thought, like Guénon, and not Meister Eckhart was probably one of them too. There is another one. But yes, 2005 to 2007 was a time of intensive philosophical study, and that eventually ended in me becoming an atheist anyway, though. Because after all this, I just concluded it just seemed it was very pointless. You know, the story of the devil and all this. Where did the devil come from, and where do these devilish feelings and ambitions come from to begin with, if everything was okay? If everything was so perfect. And free will just doesn't cut it for me, because I would have to assume that if God is the only thing that existed at first, then everything that exists afterwards should have some imprint of him. Should have somewhat of the nature of God. I mean, the idea that there could be an Ahriman in a universe created purely by Mazda makes very little sense to me. How did this universe stray so far away from the divine Asha? Why exactly? It's not like the devil is trying to prove anything. It's not like Lucifer Aphrodite had something she needed to prove before she fell, so it'll never make sense. Well, to make it short, all this stuff happening and seeing how chaotic and pointless this world was, and not buying the whole scriptural accounts. Too much of it relies on what we don't know, what we cannot disprove. That's not good enough for me. I basically got more into political philosophy and economic philosophy. But seeing that obviously socialism was corrupt, as is known, I couldn't support it. I mean, this eventually led me to embracing the anarchism of Bakunin and Proudhon. Okay, and eventually of Bookchin, people like that. I became obsessed with that throughout 2007. As well as obsessed with various conspiracy theories. I was in an online college course at this time. Of course, that wasn't to last very long. Things just dried up. Again, I won't explain anymore. But, there is a lot of study on social psychology and political philosophy and comparative religion. And I had kind of learned at some point, I was also obsessed with LaRouche for a short period. Unfortunately, he's when I learned that all these mixed economies are purely corrupted. Yes, I agree with them that a lot of modern music probably is brainwashing. But I also believe ego stripping that goes on in the Lime is brainwashing also. Of course, since 2009, I'm now a total libertarian. I flirted with the idea before, and even things like Native and New Harmony, they fell apart with immediately. It just will never work. I also saw the economy unfold into something disturbing. I'm still against the printing of money. The senseless printing of money. Yes, distribution of wealth makes absolutely no sense when there is no wealth to distribute. I do see us eventually returning to a type of feudal age. This has been a decade in passing. See you all. P.S. I love ramen soups. You can never go bad with those, especially if you know what you're doing with them.